Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Fortified Life podcast, where we are passionate about developing a dependency on Jesus in the marketplace. I'm your host, Jason Davis, aka Mr. Fortify. Every week, we have the opportunity to bring on authors, speakers, coaches, CEOs, leaders of nonprofits who are also passionate about putting God back in business. I love our topic today. This is part of our tools and resources series. And folks, I got to tell you, this is going to be a fun conversation because our guest, we're going to talk about all things gaming today. But before we get into that, let me introduce our guest to you. Tonye Setima-Benebo has spent over a decade wearing many hats across communications, project management, business development, and quality assurance. What drives her most is creating spaces where people can grow, think differently, and become the best versions of themselves. This passion led her to start Abba's Games, a faith-driven gaming and entertainment brand. Through games, game nights, community engagement, she helps individuals connect with others, learn in playful ways, and live with purpose. Her work combines faith, fun, personal growth, and she's making learning engaging, meaningful, and transformative for everyone involved. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Fortified Life, Tonye SB. Tonye, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. How are you too?
I am doing well, and folks, I'm just really excited because I've met Tonye recently, just over the last quarter, and you know when you meet people that it only takes like a couple of times you talking to them, you just immediately the Holy Spirit just starts entering the conversation, and that's how it's been, Tonye. The last couple of times we talked, and even when we met at the high tech prayer breakfast, so shout out to High Tech Prayer Ministries. But Tonya, we are here in this tools and resources episode to talk about Abba's games. And there's a big story there, and a lot of it has to do even with how you came to Christ is wired in. So, Tonya, tell us about how the Lord gave you the idea for Abba's games, the origin, and where you find yourself now.
Okay. Thanks, Jason, for having me. And hello, everyone. Abba's Games, even just here, asking me to tell you is just like, really? It's still like a dream, but we're here. How we all started. So, fun story. I don't know how to dance. I don't know how to sing. I've tried, my friends have tried, people have tried to teach me how to dance, but I just can't get it. I'm those are people that sit on a chair and I move left and right, and you think I can dance until I get up and
Mm.
you are so disappointed. But the thing is, I knew I couldn't dance like for a long time. So when I go out, I'm looking for like I'm waiting for the game time, like oh when we're playing games, when we're doing all of that. And I think that's how I kind of learned how to or had that desire to play games. So even while I was still in the world, as people tell me, I loved going for game nights. I loved going for game nights where you meet people and then like we'll play games, we'll interact. I like that interactive, meaningful connection where we get to like speak and do different activities. I personally think that you get to know people more like that. Um, so when I became saved, how the Holy Spirit usually does sometimes just sneaks up on you and then makes you fall in love with him and all of that. I still used to go for some game nights. I mean, obviously, for most people who had that kind of transition where they were unbelievers and then became believers, you don't really like people's cases can be different, but it's not like I just automatically threw away all my unbelieving friends. So we would go out or have game nights, and then I remember sometimes I would come back, and this is like decent, not those crazy ones, but I would still come back home, and sometimes I would I'll feel like, okay, not really feeling too good about it, not really feeling too edified. And I was just wondering, you know what, like, why can't I have a group of people coming and then we're just playing Christian games or we're, having conversations that are more Christ-centered and it doesn't feel weird? Like a funny story, honestly, there was a time we were out with some of my friends who were not like Christians or like born again, and we were playing this game on the table. We were out for dinner, and I think you pick a card and then you ask questions, everybody would answer. So you pick a card, whatever question you read out, everybody on the table has to answer. And I remember picking up a card. No, I wasn't the one picking it up. Somebody else picked it up, and it was, "What are you most grateful for?"
Mm.
Everybody answered. I remember somebody on the table answering about, "Oh, I'm grateful for my education." And I said, "I'm grateful for my salvation." And people started laughing, and just thought like, "Oh, don't be silly. We're playing a game here." Things like that. So that's just an example of, like I feel like depending on the crowd I was with, that wouldn't have been such a silly thing to say, and I wasn't trying to be cheesy. I just really meant it as in that was my answer.
Hmm.
Um, So just to drive home the point of how I really wanted that circle where we could have those genuine conversations about Christ and play. And then I started having that budding for a while. And on my birthday, 2024, it was getting close to my birthday, and I was thinking, okay, what should I do? What do I want to come up with? And I just heard, or I felt, you've been trying to do these game nights, Christian game nights. Why don't you use your birthday as a day? I mean, you can't procrastinate your birthday. Your birthday is your birthday, and you need. So, I started planning, I started writing a guest list together. And Jason, like while I was planning, I had a name of what to call it. And that was the
Mm.
first time I realized that this thing I thought was just my desire was actually his plan all along. Because it was really weird. I was sitting on my bed, heard the name, and you know, and I paused. I'm like, wait, so it's been you nudging me all this time? And had the first one. I didn't tell anybody what it was. I didn't even tell anybody what the name was. I just said, guys, come for my birthday. Invited people over, but I already knew how it was going to go down. Prepared all the games, everything. I used it as a test run.
Hmm.
Like you read my bio, I'm into quality assurance, so we keep testing out. So I
Hmm.
want like people to come with no expectation. Let me see what it's about. And that's how I started doing game nights in my living room for my living room. Um, and then I was thinking of doing card games, yeah, of looking at different other games to play when people come for these game nights.
Hmm.
And that's how the first card game came about. That one again was clearly, I was thinking up the idea, and then I was telling my friend, oh, I have this idea. This idea came to me about this game, and it's almost already finished. Maybe 1, 2 hours. If I sit down, I can really sketch it out.
Mm.
On a Saturday, I come to sit down on the table in my living room, where I work, and I kid you not, I couldn't remember anything I had written down.
Oh.
I couldn't, my brain was frozen. And remember, I
Hmm.
told my friend 2 hours tops, I should be done. So I think at some moment I realized it wasn't normal and I prayed. I'm like, Holy Spirit, I don't know what's going on. I thought we had this covered. I thought this idea was you giving it to me. And anyways, after I said that prayer, it was like someone turned up, switched on a tap. And all the
Mm.
ideas started coming, and that's how I got the idea, the sketch, everything for our flagship game, play the characters.
Mm.
Yeah. So I thought at that time, I was just using the game as well, the card game to play during the game night. I thought the game night was the mandate at that point, just like how you thought your book was it until you realized it was, yeah. So I thought game night was the mandate. When I when I would play the cards, people would ask about it, would ask, oh, where can I buy it? Where did you buy it from? And when I tell them, oh, I designed it, they're like, oh my God. I had a conversation with my friend one day, and shout out to Jen Lyo. She says, I think you should sell the cards. And I'm like, I don't
Mm.
I think I feel like it's just something that I want us to play. Like, God gave me this idea. And she looks at me and she says, yeah, like God gives us ideas so that we can make money from it. And she was like, yeah, I think you should print it, put it like in stores, sell it, try and get it on Amazon. And one of the ways I know that something resonates or God is trying to speak to me is when there are sometimes people say a word and I just receive it, like it sits well.
Hmm.
And when she said it, I was like, okay. Then that's when I started thinking of, um, maybe I should go ahead and sell it. I just wanted to print it out and just be selling to people that come for the game night because people were really rushing. I want a copy. And I remember trying to do that. But again, it has been God all the way. He said, no, that's not how you are going to do it. You are going
Mm.
to launch like a proper brand. This is it. This is it. And I had to hold on with the cars, put everything together. And that's how we launched Abba's Games. So Abba's Games
Mm.
is a faith gaming brand. And the whole purpose is really to bring people together, believers together to connect with God, connect with scripture, connect with each other in a way that is fun, in a way that is relatable, in a way that is enjoyable. And we do this through games, so which is our flagship game that has also come out, play the characters. And we do it through game nights or gaming events as well, so that um, we have a situation where people come together, believers from different Bible believing churches come together and play games, connect with each other, and just leave feeling edified, even after having so much fun and so much laughter and so much giggles. Basically, everything we do, like you said, is around play-based learning.
Hmm.
We're very intentional. We Abbas games are very intentional about playing and having fun, but we also want to pass a message on that one.
Mm.
So, yeah,
It's good.
pretty much that's how we started. Oh, that's how we started. And we're here talking about it.
Wow. That is awesome,
Yeah.
Tonye. So we kind of have the two categories. We have gaming events or game nights, and then we
Mhm.
have the flagship game, which we'll get to in a second. How does one, I imagine, the Lord gives you this idea. He tells you to do like a proper launch. It's going to be a brand. You're not just going to put something together and give it to people. So, how does one request a game night or a gaming event? Are there partnerships? Is it like churches? Is it individuals, small groups, youth
Yeah.
camps? How does one go? Hey, Tonya, I love what you're doing. Can you come to my city, or maybe you do it virtually? But how does one get a game night or gaming event set up?
Yeah, so what I would say, because everything you said is correct. You can do different ways. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm about to reference my boss. My boss always says there are many ways to kill a rat or kill a mouse. You could trap it, you could poison it, you could this. There are many ways to start a game night, honestly. For me, how I started was with what I had
Mm.
in terms of my living room. The people around me, the first set of people I invited were from my church.
Okay.
So after that set, then I just started expanding to my Christian network. I would always have like a list of people. I kept it small because at that time it was in my living room. Um, so I really would say there are different ways to go about it, but it depends on the individual.
Got
Uh,
it.
I was There are some people who have access to based on where they are or where they work or what they do, they have access to resources that can, at the first go, they
Hmm.
can make a gaming event and get sponsors and get like, you know, drinks, foods, vendors to sponsor. If that's where you are, um, that's great. But I think what is very, very important is to start with what you have. So if you look around you, there's something that ChatGPT told me one time, says your testers are in your house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Start with what you have. Um, so you need a venue for a game night.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever that venue is it your house? Are you renting? Are you this? You need a venue. You need people to attend. And then based on your venue, you can say you want 10 to 20 people. I mean, for me, I had my parlor. I know how many people my parlor can take. And for a game night, you don't want it choked because people are moving
Mm.
up and down, all around. Um, Not really about sitting, because in game
Mm.
nights, people don't always sit down, like looking at
Yeah.
this, or people are standing, jumping, but you need enough space
Mm-hmm.
to accommodate this set of people. If it's 10, if it's 30, if it's 100, you need a space that can take them, not necessarily sit them, but just house them comfortably so it's not like choked. And then you should have a guest list to like write down the people. For me, what I did was I always had a guest list, and then I will have my guest list like this is the amount of people. So if it was 15, 20, I have 20. Then I have extra. You know how airlines will put you on waiting list. So in case
Mm-hmm.
anyone canceled, I could switch their names. So I would have that list, and I would tell them when I send the invite out that
Mm.
confirm if you are coming so that I can save your seat. There's a way I would phrase it so you know that if you don't show, let me know so I can give somebody else your seat. So I would make them
Got
know
it.
confirming was important because giving them that slot means someone else is not being invited. So
Very
anyhow,
true.
you phrase it because that's not how I phrased it, but there was a way I just phrased it so people knew that, look, confirm if you're coming, if you're not coming, then I would always do a follow-up
Mm-hmm.
to the time as well to just be like, okay, just confirming if you're still able to make it. If you can't make it, please let me know so that my guest list was always tight. There has to be how do you want to take your food? The On my birthday, because that was my birthday, I kind of took care of everything. As I kept going, there was something that was constant. I always cooked jollof rice as a Nigerian. But then I would put in the message of I still made it like potluck, so you can bring something if you wanted to. Excuse me. So people could come in, just like how you have normal game nights that people
Mm-hmm.
bring in snacks, this, that. But I would always make sure there was jollof rice, there was drinks, there was water. So people were not dependent on what they brought to eat. Uh,
Mm.
People can think about, yeah. So I think setting up now, we've said venue, we've said um, guest list, and we've said um, the food, and then
Mm-hmm.
obviously games. So you need to keep people entertained. I would draw out a flow of how I want the games to go,
Mm.
infuse how I want everything to do it. I would play it in my head and be sure that I have the whole flow. However, I was always very flexible. If I
Gotcha.
noticed the mood had kind of like changed, you know, I would skip it out to the point where even when I was testing out my card game, there are sometimes I know that the energy is already very energetic, and I don't want to bring people to play an actual card game. Like they want to play something else that's
Mm-hmm.
more upbeat. For that moment, I'll just keep testing it out and be like, okay,
Got
we
it.
don't have to test it. I wasn't. I'm always focused on the experience, right?
Gotcha.
It's not just about, oh, I want to test out this my particular card game because it has Abba's games on it. We can play other games as long as they're enjoying the Abba's game night experience. That's what is important for me too. So yeah, those were some of the things I would say again, work with what you have. Don't
Mm-hmm.
wait to get to a certain point to be able to start. So if you're watching this video and you're asking how do you want to do a game night, um, look at it at how would you throw yourself a party?
Mm. That's
If
good,
you
Tonye.
throw yourself a party, if you were to do a birthday party, well, how would you organize it? Switch it and make it a game night.
That's good. So you're really So you have the idea that God gave you, you have the gaming platform, and you're just encouraging people to, hey, we're going to make sure as a gaming brand, we create awesome games and give you the tools, suggestions to have a great gaming experience. But really, people have creative license to whether they use it in the home or have the, a more formal, not formal, but a larger venued event. Very cool. Well, Tonye, we've kind of been building, so we have the game night, but of course, if you're gonna have a game night, you gotta have a game. And so we've got the flagship game, Play the Characters. So you talked about how you've been very um, transparent about the intimacy with God. Like, oh man, I was sitting in prayer time and God showed me this. So with Play the Characters being the flagship game, what is that game about? What does it mean to play the characters? And I love what you said earlier. It's not just about playing a game. There's a larger message. There's a larger overarching theme. So tell us about the flagship game and the message behind it.
Yeah. So Play the Characters is a Bible-based card game. It is
Mm,
based off Bible characters.
gotcha.
Uh, so it's a two-in-one game. It can be played like the normal playing, traditional playing card method. It has
Hmm.
action cards in it and all of that. It can also be played like charades. So taking out a
Mm,
card, describing it and reading it. And the main theme behind the game is to introduce people or reintroduce people to characters in the Bible and make it relatable. I want
mm,
people to look at Esther's story and, it kind of connects with them today. Look at Noah and, he was asked to build an ark, right? But in the card, we described him as the first civil engineer in the Bible, just so that you can see how in today's world you can be a Noah, building something that people thought was impossible in construction, things like that. So just to make those Bible characters more relatable today, but in a fun way. So where um, it's not a case of Bible study again,
hmm
for family or people who just feel like, can we not just do something fun for once,
hmm
right? Um, this card game too was supposed to create that kind of solution, right?
hmm
I grew up in a Christian home. Both my parents are pastors, and would have something called morning devotion every morning. For me, it was just a routine. We come, then they would make all of us read one scripture of the Bible. It was entering here and coming out from here.
mm
Right. And I'm like, okay, we can, especially in the generation where we are in, where everyone is very, doesn't really stay put.
hmm
Us to the card game was something that, okay, you can infuse in learning the Bible. Imagine doing one in devotionals, just even before you go into the main message. You take a piece of the card, you read it, you can play it with your family, you can play at youth groups, you can play it at anywhere. So yeah, that is pretty much the summary of play the characters. Yeah.
I love it. And so, Tony, you mentioned the two kind of styles. You could play it like charades or 21. Do the cards have like animations or pictures on
Um,
them? Because that's what made me think. I was like, wow,
yeah,
if you've got like
yeah,
a card
yeah.
about
Can you give
Esther,
me a second? I was supposed to actually bring this to, let me get the card. I was supposed to bring it. Yeah, I don't know how. I,
yeah, I'd love to see it.
yeah. So this is
All
it.
right, there it is.
Yeah. And then there's the blue, there's the yellow. Honestly, there's no difference between the two. I just couldn't pick which color I wanted. I started
I
off with yellow.
got you.
And then one time, I don't know, halfway in between, I'm just like, what about light blue? And I couldn't decide. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna give myself reasons that marketing gurus do, like, oh, make two colors so people can pick two. So I know
Mm-hmm.
people, they know it's the same, but because there's blue and yellow, they take the two. So,
Mm.
but yeah, basically the card has pictures on it. Um, the like I said, it's for Bible characters, and
Mm-hmm.
then the Bible characters are 125 in each pack.
Mm.
Yeah. And then they are split into five categories. So you have things like five main categories. So you have the prophets, the kings. I should have. I'm just trying to get each one out, and then I'll just show you in a bit. So you have
Yeah,
five.
for sure.
You have kings. Kings are obviously like the kings that were in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a category called prophets. So prophets are like the prophets in the Bible, Elijah.
Mm-hmm.
So for each of these categories, you have 25 different people. So yeah, this is like a prophet card.
Mm.
Every card will have like the category. Everything will pretty much be the same for prophet, apart from the name.
Gotcha.
So who is this? This is Hosea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, but then you have 25 of prophets. So all will change, will be the name. There'll be different prophets on it.
Very
You
cool.
have the king card. So the king is just like kings in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then you have faith masters. Faith masters are anyone who showed exemplary faith in the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
all those ones who were in like the Hall of Fame, in
Mm-hmm.
Faith Hall of Fame. You have apostles. So apostles are like the disciples and anyone who really led that church movement in the New
Mm-hmm.
Testament. And finally, you have extraordinary characters. So these are people who had extraordinary stories. They could be
Mm-hmm.
victims, they could be, but they didn't have titles. So this card is someone who was brought down by a small god, a small boy with a big god. Can you guess who this is?
Goliath.
Yeah. We had to put some easy ones there,
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, so this is Goliath. So you have people like this, like funny stories there. One thing that was important for me is, especially with the charade method, I don't know if you know of this game called Taboo,
Mm-hmm.
where
Oh yeah.
you don't say the word. So people will be like, why don't we just put it like taboo so you don't say the words? I'm like, yeah, I know that is also fun to do, but I want people to know these characters. So
Right, right.
I mean, it's fine if when you are playing it with your family or anybody else playing it, you can inculcate your own rules. But
Mm-hmm.
I want each card, very important, to come with the name, a description of, a fun fact about the character, and then a Bible verse. So if you check here, there's this small pad in red that is like a scriptural reference. So for someone who, just got saved, is not even saved,
Mm-hmm.
or is curious about this character or this card they picked up, if they say, oh, I didn't know this about this person, there's the scriptural reference right there, and then they can go back and read about it. So that was one of the reasons why we were very, very careful that everything had descriptions. And then the language was also modern, just trying to play around words, play around with it so that people
Mm-hmm.
find it engaging. Yeah, so that is part of the things that we did. Um, I was hoping I could get some of the action cards. Ooh, wow. First set of cards I picked out. Yeah, so if you have not playing a charades, you can play
Mm-hmm.
it like the normal ways where you play. So you have like some action cards.
Mm-hmm.
The action cards also have like messages. So you have tarry. You know how like as Christians, there are times where we have to tarry in prayer. There are
Mm-hmm.
so obviously when you play tarry, there's a whole thing that happens during the game. If you want to
Sure.
know, for those listening, go and get a copy and know what tarry does. And there's rain, there's rain, there's famine.
Mm.
Yeah, there's famine, there's the love card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, this is my favorite. Favor.
Oh,
This is my favorite. So you have things like that. When you are playing in the traditional method, there are
hmm.
ways that you can inculcate it. And the game does come with a manual. Yeah. So that
Got it.
every every way that you wanted to play it is also there.
I love it,
Yeah.
Tonye. That is awesome. So, folks, so for our people listening, and Tonye was given the description. So you have the type of card it is, the categories. Then you have the actual, obviously, depending on what format you're playing, the actual answer, a description of the Bible character and then a scripture reference. And that's part of that overarching theme of driving people back to the Bible.
Yeah.
So you can see the evangelism in it for somebody who is just like, hey, I'm coming to support Tonye or Jason. I don't really know much. And it's like, oh, okay, wow, that's Goliath. So you have the evangelistic aspect, and then you also have the discipleship aspect for those who are saved to encourage you to go back and read your Bible, but you've now had this fun experience. So it's really cool. So for the YouTube audience, you had got to actually see the card to make sure you, when you're going back and rewatching, check out the when Tonye was showing the different colors, the blue versus the yellow, and then the type of cards. They're animated. It's really awesome. The graphics. Tony, so I could see while playing if somebody's reading it, not only of course, the competition of trying to win, but actually looking at the cards because like the kings had the garbs on and the prophets and so it's really cool. Well,
Yeah.
Tonya, we've talked about the game experience game night, how to play the format, the cards. Now, how does everybody go get a copy?
Ooh. Okay, so we are on Instagram. So we
Hmm.
have a e-commerce site seller where
Okay.
it is, and then on Instagram we take DMs and we deliver anywhere in the US, anywhere in the UK, anywhere in Nigeria, my hometown. We are also in the process of getting it on Amazon. So
Yeah.
I believe that in a few weeks after this podcast is out, we should be on Amazon. So you can still keep an eye on us. Probably by the time you are watching this, it might already be on Amazon US, UK, and Canada. But the best bet is to follow us on Instagram. We are at Abba's Game Night. So Abba's Game and Night. And all the information on how you can get these cards will be there. For our game night, we are a multi-city event, so we go city to city. We had this year, we had in two in Lagos, Nigeria, one in Abuja, Nigeria, one in Atlanta, Georgia, and 2026. Let's see what what we have cooking. But again, just following us on Instagram just kind of gives you a view as to where we're going to be next, how you can contact us, how you can get in touch with us, and have a copy of this wonderful game in your hands.
I love it, Tonya. It sounds like Abba's Games is coming to a city near you, according to the listener. So the game is coming on tour. I love it. And it's folks, it's international. Atlanta, Nigeria, different cities. Tonya, I'm so excited for what God is doing. Any now I don't want you to get in trouble because we know anytime you have a business or a product, there's secret things, but is there anything coming up in 2026 that's on the roadmap? I'll put it that way.
Um, I think things are cooking even right before now, before the launch. Um, there are things cooking, but because we are very faith driven,
Hmm.
I like to believe that I have a CEO at the top. So I'm not sure when things will be released.
Sure.
Um, but then just keep an eye on us. Watch out. Watch out. But for us, it's really just to what we are focusing on to is just to really push the cards into more markets.
Yeah.
Do you
Yep.
so that the cards are in more hands, kind of strengthen distribution
Mm. Yeah.
across different borders before releasing more. more games. I think that that's the strategy for us right now.
No, that makes a lot of sense because Tonya, they're going to come. They're coming. And I think like you said, beginning the distribution on Amazon will be huge. So
Yeah.
Tonya, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show, talking about the game. I'm really, really excited. Man, I need to get a copy myself so I can play so that I can post on Instagram and be like, Tonya, look at me, I've got my apostle card. So can't thank you enough. Any parting words for people? Like Tonya, what would you say as we get ready to go? What if somebody they're not like a gamer person, they're like gaming curious. In other words, say Tonye, someone, hey Tonye, I love you. I don't really do the game thing, but I'm coming because I like you. What would you say to that person that is kind of like, okay, I'll come. I don't really know what to expect.
Yeah, so for me and I think I've noticed that so most times when I go to because for Abba's games, yes, we do game nights, but we also like are Christian game masters. So
Hmm.
I can just be hired to go and organize games like in a church or for a church
Mm.
program or youth events, things like that. And one of the things I tell the audience is it doesn't matter if you are a the competitor or the player or the cheerer. One thing I know is that even if the person is not a gamer, like there are people who do not participate, but they enjoy watching other people participate. Not everybody
Mm.
participates in the game, but they enjoy people just looking at people play it, or they'll be like, oh, let me be the one to keep the timer, you
Hmm.
know, or they're the ones that they're not playing, but they're the ones to call out, no, that person is wrong. They'll be the referee. So I've seen like different people, and then there's some people I tell you that thought they were not players.
Hmm.
In fact, frowned in the beginning and kept this face of, you know, and towards the end, they're the ones shouting, no, no, no. You do not add my points. Give me the points. And I'm talking either 10-year-olds, 50-year-olds. It's the same thing. I went to a
Wow.
church recently and it was like the choir people versus the Sunday school teachers. And they were like, no, the cup is ours. This. And some people didn't even know that they would be like that.
Wow.
I have people say, I just came to support you, just like you said, like
Mm.
I didn't expect to have this much fun.
Yeah.
And to be honest, um, I know that before Abba's games, I was quite skilled, like I said, in doing games. So I'm the go-to person in my office to organize team retreats, team bonding exercises, things like that. So there's a skill to it, but I also think that is the grace that follows Abba's games. I'm yet
Mm.
someone who didn't genuinely have a good time. Like there's this slogan that we didn't create it, oh.
Hmm.
It's people that created it, and it is when is the next one?
Mm.
Like I'm not even kidding. It's like we don't even tell them you go and like I said, it's a multi-city event. Most times it's not
Hmm.
the same people that come for the next one. Even when I was in my house, it wasn't the same people that were coming every time when I was hosting. I always had new set of people, but people would always ask, when is the next one? How come you didn't invite me? Hitting me at the parking lot. How far? Please, the next one. So yeah, I would say that just keep an open mind and you never know. Keep an open mind. If you think you're not a gaming person, keep an open mind. And if you don't participate, I'm still sure you have a good time. You learn something from the answers, from the questions being asked or the games being played. And like I said, it's a time for people to network and interact,
Hmm.
right? So people go for wrestling matches and other things, sports, football, not the one playing, they are watching. And yeah, so you can come for us to the point is to network with other like-minded believers. I feel like there are not enough spaces where people can gather in a comfortable setting. So that's one of the things that our game night does.
I love it. Tonye, that I don't, there's nothing else to add. That was like a mic drop. When is the next one? Well, folks, that's all we have time for today. Tonye, I can't thank you enough for coming on and sharing what God is doing. Daddy, God, Abba, is doing. And folks, I'm telling you, go out, get your copy, follow Abba's games on Instagram. As Tonye has said, we'll have all of her information in the show notes, so you can go get a copy, follow on Instagram, next steps. How do you make your own game night or gaming experience? More expansion is coming. So we'll have that in the show notes, jerichoforce.com/podcast, fortified life podcast.com. Tonye, we're going to have to bring you back on when you have the next. So there's the when is the next one? Well, when is the next update? We'll have to bring you back on the show when you have maybe the next game, because this is just the flagship game. There'll be other games. So I'll have to bring you back when you have your next one.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jay,
Yes,
for having me.
absolutely. Well, folks, you know how we end things here on the podcast. Don't compartmentalize your faith in the marketplace. And from the boardroom to the bathroom, God is with you. This has been one of our tools and resources episodes. We'll see you next time on the Fortified Life podcast.